whatever this delusion is that you guys will ever be able to compete with me, let go of it. Salute, Mobtube. How is everybody tonight? Let's see. Let me shout a few people out. Bobby Berberian, Common Sense, M. Soretti, Joe Root, Root Irish, Danny Santos, Psycho, Kurt Franz, Carmine S., Johnny the Greek, Davis Dean, Maverick. Let me get down here some more. Antonino, $10. Time to sit back and enjoy. Thank you, Antonino. And yes, I think you guys will enjoy this show very much. Benny Diova, Mob Entertainment Group. I'm going to rush through some of these because I want to bring my guest on. No, ma'am. Let me get down here. Okay. Matt Blanc, Joe the Builder, Nightmare 1503, Don Berlin, Harvester of Gyros, Paulie Walnuts, Chris Capello, Steve Cutler, Tactical Terminator, Trevor Smith. Good to see all you guys. So listen, tonight I'm going to reintroduce you to someone. Okay. Now, if you, as you know, Handsome Jack has been on here several times and talked about himself, but never quite let you guys know who he actually is. Now, some of you figured it out on your own, some of you didn't, but you know he's ready to let it be known. So, as you saw from the thumbnail, his name is Howie Santos. Okay, he was a Gambino associate, to say the least. He was Jojo Carrazzo's driver, and at one point in time, Jojo Carrazzo actually mentioned wanting to change Howie's last name just so he could be made. So he was a pretty important guy. And as you know, from past shows he's been on as Handsome Jack, he's got a lot of stories to tell, you know. Now, tonight, he's going to do a little something different. He's going to talk about some of this Mobtube stuff that's going on. And maybe at the end, he'll talk a little bit about his life. But don't worry, because he will be back, of course. Handsome Jack is my boy. We talk all the time. Matter of fact, I am relieved, because every time I had him on, I was so careful not to slip and call him Howie by accident that now I don't have to worry about it anymore. So he's not going to be showing his face tonight because he had the same type of day I did. If you could tell, my shirt's all wrinkled. I look like shit. I feel like shit. And so does Howie because, you know, he had the same type of day. So doesn't matter. At some point, he will come on here, you know, and show himself to you, you know, his face anyway. And until then, we'll just do it this way. All right, guys. So let me bring on Handsome Jack right now, and we can get started.
What's up, buddy?
Jack, what's up, bro?
Hello to the chat. I'm going to get started quick because I wrote down a lot of stuff, and I'm going to be addressing this Angel Gotti, who keeps pushing an article that was written about me that was totally false. And the only reason why I wasn't able to sue the Daily News was because I was in the middle of a transition. I was taken off the streets and going through the process of relocating. And I come to find out later on that there's a 1-year statute of limitations for libel cases. So that came and went pretty quick. But this idiot, Angel Gotti, thinks she's got, well, anyway, she's going to wind up with egg on her face because she keeps pushing the narrative that I killed an elderly man during a home invasion and that I made a sex tape, and the person I made the sex tape about was my future wife. Totally false. There was never a tape made because if you read the article, I say the tape cut off. So there was never a tape made. I say that the tape cut off because I decided not to make a tape. What tape only lasts 15 minutes? Okay, but
Yeah.
I'm talking to these idiots while I'm wearing a wire. So I I said a lot of stuff, just to create conversations. Um, and another thing, she said that I was caught on tape, meaning like I didn't know I was being recorded. I was the guy wearing the recording device. So, uh, would I be an idiot and talk about my future wife on knowing that I'm being recorded?
Of course
No.
not.
And the only reason why that attorney said all of those things was he threw my wife, my ex-wife, under the bus like a grimy, uh, I don't know, a grimy cocksucker. And because that's what they do. They wanted to try to get my ex-wife mad at me, so maybe she would turn on me. But she didn't fall for that. She didn't even speak to anybody. She refused all calls. Anyway, um, as it turns out, allegedly, and according to my sources, the girl that I was attempting to make the tape that I never made was actually the lawyer's future wife. But we'll talk about that another day.
That's hilarious.
All right, and so I'm going to start with my notes now. Might start sound like I'm reading a little bit. It's because I am, because I want to make sure I cover everything. Okay,
That's fine.
because Angel was so happy. She was like, "Here you go, FBS. Uh, listen to this one. We finally got someone who attacked the elderly man like MRE." It was it was proven that I didn't kill the elderly man, and the government will
Let me
attest to
just
that.
say though, it's good she finally admitted that MRE attacked an elderly man. But
Yeah,
go on.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
And then the best part is that she said she only mentioned me and MRE. She didn't mention common sense, because they have that false narrative that he did something to an elderly person too. So that just goes to show you that it's a false narrative
Oh
because
yeah.
it didn't dawn on her. Because if it really happened, she wouldn't forget.
Yep.
So I guess her boy toy stands alone again. And
Yeah.
and before they think they got another aha moment, I was also suspected of killing a pizzeria owner's son, who was a cop during a home invasion. Never happened. And everything is provable. Okay. Um, Let me scroll down a little bit to the next part. So so I wrote over here. Um, didn't you find it odd that they didn't quote me saying uh, the girl's name that I was allegedly trying to video? They quoted me saying a whole bunch of other stuff, but they never quoted me saying anything about the person who I was allegedly trying to record that I never recorded. There is no tape. And it says it in the article, but these morons, they want to go with the narrative that fits them best. Okay, and they threw my ex-wife under the bus, and I'm never gonna forget that. And I hope this guy Dominic from We Push Back wrote a new article about me, because I saw them put up an article. Okay, and Angel kept pushing the narrative again, because I'll make sure that I get them before a year is up, and I will win, because the government will stand behind me, because they know for a fact that that's all false. It was just the lawyers trying to make me look bad in the newspapers to discredit me from cooperating, uh, against his defendant. Meanwhile, the defendant he's defending is a junkie. Um, a guy went over. A guy that worked in the club went over his house to clean up his apartment,
Yeah.
because he was out sniffing coke all night, and he had a couple of hookers come over, and the kid found dildos, strap-ons, handcuffs under his bed. Now, I mean,
Jesus.
if you got a female with you, what do you need a strap-on for? And and this, I'm not saying this just to be cute. This is the God's honest truth. And if anybody asks that kid who used to work at the club, he'll tell you. So, according to the article, that the tape ran out after 15 minutes. I never heard of a VCR tape that's only 15 minutes long. It was because I decided against it. Even though I was only about 19, 20 years old, wasn't mature yet, but at least I had a little sense to change my mind. So,
Yeah.
so now that
I didn't realize that's how young you were in that story.
yeah, um, and why would I tell a story that's gonna make my ex-wife look bad, knowing that I'm wearing a wire? Okay,
Good
you
point.
know, when you're wearing a wire, you when you're talking to these guys, there's a lot of things you just say just to start a conversation, and the reason why I did that was because sometimes you get a little paranoid and you think maybe people might suspect, and a guy who's wearing a wire isn't going to tell a story like that and get embarrassed later on. But anyway, so like I said, I was going to sue them, but the year passed and the statute of limitations was up. And in that article, the lawyer says that the government needs to be careful who they lay with. But evidently, that lawyer needs to be careful who he lays with because his defendant just out and out lied to him and he went with it with the newspapers. And like I said, allegedly, it was his future wife. I'm sure he'll be squealing like a pig now.
Yeah, that makes it so much funnier, honestly.
Yeah.
Dwayne Polizzi, thank you very much, my man,
So
for the $20.
all right, so now I got to find this next part because I'm trying to do it in order for you guys. All right. Uh, I just want to let Angel know that uh, I made some phone calls, and she doesn't want to keep talking about things that aren't true in reference to me. And if that scumbag Lee Cole or any of her lackeys do a story pushing that false narrative, I'm going to hold her responsible because she read the article on her show. So if Lee MRE and that muscle guy don't care about Angel, then let them say something about a false allegation, and it's going to get real ugly. Um, I know too much about Angel and her family,
Oh, I
okay?
know.
Because the streets talk, and I was in that neighborhood all my life. And I wasn't a Howard Beach guy; I was an Ozone Park guy. Howard Beach guys were considered fags when I was younger. And she, if she thinks FBS is driving her crazy, she better not open up this can of worms again. So let me get to this next part because I didn't
I
write
hear
everything
you.
down in order. Uh, all right. Okay. So me like an idiot, I didn't put everything in order, so I'm all over the place.
I do it
All
all
right.
the time, bro.
Yeah.
When I take
So
notes, bro, I'm all over the place.
yeah. So and then last night I believe it was after FBS played the tapes where um, Angel's father is using the N word. Um, when she got to that part of speaking on her show, she skipped right over the part where her father goes into a racist rant. She said it was old news. I didn't know she already denied that that was she denied it, and it was clearly recorded in prison. And
Yeah.
I'd like to know how her white friend Marla feels about that.
Oh, she doesn't mind. She hasn't figured
Yeah,
out yet, that she's
yeah,
actually a black woman.
and by the way, I'd like to know if you're in contact with your half sister Angel. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, you're not related to her at all.
No.
Do you know your father used to send? I'm not going to say his name out of respect. This guy on errands so her father can fuck his wife. Okay, but that guy was the real man. He put that to the side and raised the girl as his own. My heart bleeds for that guy. Something Angel's father didn't have balls to do. Take care of his mistake. And that's a Cosa Nostra rule, punishable by death.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
even on the prison tapes talking about how he can't support her. He's actually complaining about the fact that Shannon
Yeah.
Willow is asking for money.
Yeah. And then Angel's so worried about my victims and how much of a violent person I was. Well, why don't you worry about her father's victims and her brothers? They hung this kid, Johnson Ammo, from a tree so her brother can get away with killing a guy by the name of Danny Silva in a bar.
Yep.
We know who did it because John Jr. told the government who did it when he
Yeah.
sat down
Yeah.
to proffer.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh man, where I lost my spot again. Just give me a
It's
second.
funny that he's the one we got that story from, isn't it?
Yeah, very funny. Yeah. And Angel said she never took a drug in her life. Yesterday she was talking that she took oxycodone for her kidney stones. What, that doesn't count as a drug?
Yeah, of
Like
course it does. And that's not the only time she took him.
yeah.
Like,
She said
you know,
she said she said she only took two. Yeah, my wife was a little bit pregnant.
yeah, she only took two last night.
Yeah, maybe that was the reason she fell off the chair. And then she said,
That's the
and,
story, bro.
yeah, and then she says that she hides them. Hmm. I wonder why she hides them. She said she hides them from her grandchildren. How are her small grandchildren going to reach the medicine cabinet? Don't make sense to me. Sounds like she was trying to hide it from somebody else.
Yeah, most likely. Thank you, Dwayne.
And another thing, she's got this perverted kidnapper, Lee Cole, making perverted comments and jokes, talking about sex, penises, vaginas, buttholes on on her chat. This this guy has the nerve to talk about us. This is a guy who said he was fucked in the ass to get paid from his brother's lawsuit. I truly believe that he's responsible for his brother's state of mind when he committed suicide because of Lee, the guy lost his job, and that's what put him over the edge. And you know what? I can give my opinion on that because I have my brother was 18 years old when he shot himself in the head. So
Oh shit. Sorry to hear that.
it's all right. It was a long time ago, so I know. I believe that I can get away with saying a little something about what happened because of that. Um, Angel, I see right through your bullshit and deception and how you manipulate your subscribers. You show edited versions, a video. You'll show just the part that suits your narrative. Trust
Yeah.
me, Angel, you don't want to attack me again. Trust me. And I have another question for you. Do you split the money you earn on your show with Marla? I ask because you're always so interested in FBS when he, asks for his donations. And she,
Good point.
you know, if you're not worried about money and you're worried about your kids getting abused, get off YouTube.
Simple
But
as that.
she's a narcissist and she's selfish and she won't do it. And and if she really doesn't want the money, then why does she have a cash app in the super chat feature? Turn them off.
I know. Yeah.
You can turn them off, and she can still get her likes. We only ask for likes. She's a phony. She said, "Oh my God, what are you doing? Why are you sending me money? Send it back to them if you don't want it." And you know what? Honestly, there's nothing wrong with you getting paid for your time, and in fact, you deserve it. But
Thank you.
you think it's wrong to get paid for your time. What do you call it? Begging. And another thing, do you think I care what your dirtbag friends think of me? I'm not looking for nobody's approval. There ain't no one going to look out for me in this life. Everybody looks out for themselves. And that's what I did. I looked out for myself. So fuck all of you. Just the people who have a problem with it, not everybody. But I'm sure she knows that. And that's what I did. If you didn't know, I'm a rat that's living a good life now. I did what was good for me, not what was good for anybody else. So everyone can walk around saying, "Oh wow, Howie was a stand-up guy." Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm walking the yard of a prison by myself just so these people don't talk bad about me. Yeah, right. That and $1.50 won't get me on a bus. Um, then you got guys like Alphonse Trucchio, the mob prodigy, the guy who spotted me talking to the agent, that you got to hide your girlfriends and your wives from, because this little scumbag junkie, okay, was introduced to this kid Nat's girlfriend. A good guy, quiet guy. He came out with us for drinks. He always played cards. He helped the club earn. While this guy was playing cards one day, this scumbag junkie had Nat's girlfriend meet him outside the club and give him a blowjob. Then he came inside bragging on how he shot his load on her face and in her mouth.
Oh.
This is a
Be
this is a
careful what you say, bro, because YouTube, you know what I mean? Be
Yeah,
careful what you
okay.
say.
This is a captain that I have to take orders from. Yeah, I don't think so. Then this other wise guy, Tony Muscatello, that used to work for me and got his start with me. Okay, and he doesn't know that JoJo asked me if he was okay before he got straightened out, and it was only a favor to Ronnie One Arm because Ronnie One Arm's doing life, and I said he was okay, but boy did I lie. Then this scumbag junkie got the kid. Okay, yeah, I already told you about that part with the dildos. Okay, and this scumbag had the nerve and the balls to try to pull rank on me. So I can give a flying fuck what anybody thinks about me.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, you know, uh, Angel talked about FBS that his son uh, might be listening to him talking disrespectful to women,
No, he's not.
which is all bullshit because I never seen the kid in his office anytime while he was
No.
talking. And maybe we should talk about her father. on how he talked to his grandchildren
Yeah.
on
No
those
shit.
tapes. Yeah,
Yeah.
and her friend MRE. I bring
Yeah.
him up because he's her little baby. If so, if someone calls you a rat, they're putting your life in danger. It is in your best interest to prove you're not a rat. I would bet my son's life that MRE cooperated. How's a case like that just disappear? It
There's
doesn't.
only one way.
Yep.
Bro, do me a favor. Keep going for a sec. I gotta go get some Tylenol. My fucking head is bumping, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll be right back.
I'm just trying to find the other spot. Okay. So now we're going to get to some good stuff here. We're going to get to this part over here. I'm sorry, guys, for making you wait, but I wrote all these notes all fucking mixed up. And I keep losing my space. All right. I'm just going to read whatever's next. Fuck it. All right. You know, I did what I did. I'm gonna die a free man, not chained to a bed. I'm sure Angel's brother feels the same way because he ratted too, and she should stop insulting her chat by saying he didn't. Okay, you proffer with the government, you're a rat. Cosa Nostra rules. Her brother knows that. He knows that, and it doesn't matter if no one goes to jail or not. He tried to avoid jail time by giving information on others. There's one thing worse than a rat that doesn't think he's a rat. And just in case you didn't know, I'm a rat. But I never took an oath, and I definitely wasn't a boss like her brother was. And now her brother's a higher ranking rat than Sammy the Bull. Um, and her brother John, one day, oh yeah, here's a little story for you. One day, her brother John sent for me because a guy got his ear sliced halfway off, and there was gunfire inside a place called the Harbor Club, and who was protected by her brother. But her brother sent uh, Stephen Kaplan and Anthony Amorosa to the club that he sent for me, but my friends wanted to give me up to anybody at the time, and at that time they called her brother Baby Huey. I'm sure he wasn't happy about that because the Gottis are used to getting what they wanted.
Yeah, of course.
And Angel, by the way, uh, she said I was a baby and I was like Gene Barello's age. By the way, Angel, I'm 56. So I'm definitely old enough, but you aren't my type.
I don't think she's anybody's type, bro. I got to be honest. I don't think
No,
she's anybody's type.
just this.
Three men thought she was their type for a short period of time, and then thought better of it and left. So yeah, I don't think she's anyone's type.
And I think I might be freaking done.
Oh really?
I might. Let me see.
Yeah. Listen, I heard a little bit. I'll let you go ahead and
Go
look
ahead.
through your notes, but in the meantime. I heard she was talking a lot of shit last night. Common Sense sent me a bunch of clips. I didn't watch them still. I don't really care because, like I said, it's beating a dead horse at this point. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
really is. So I don't know how much I'm going to talk about this lousy bitch anymore, honestly. But we could certainly do one last show on her. That's for sure.
I mean,
And
listen,
all
I'm
that
on.
shit she talks. Let me just say something about
Go ahead. Go
me,
ahead.
me and my stepson. My stepson is never, and I mean never, downstairs ever, unless if we're having dinner together. Otherwise, uh, he takes his food and he goes up to his room because, like any other 10-year-old boy in 2022, he's fucking glued to his PS4. You know what I'm saying? He's never down here. Even in one time, I was in a hotel room and I was making fun of a dude. You know, this guy that was on the show, and they tried to say because they heard him laughing in the background that he was laughing at what I was saying. But if they knew what the fuck they were talking about, they would know that my stepson is not allowed to listen to my show. He's not allowed. First of all, he's not allowed to use YouTube. We have a block on his phone. Secondly, if I'm doing a show down here, he can't be down here. And when we were in that hotel room, he had his earbuds in because I told him I needed him to have his earbuds in. I needed him to be listening to something else. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
she wants to talk about how people raise their fucking kids again. Again, bro. I'll tell you what I'm not doing, Angel. I'm not neglecting my stepson. If he's outside running around in the street, I'm keeping an eye on him. If you know what I'm getting at, Angel. You know what I mean? So, considering who your parents were and your performance as a parent, from what I can tell, and everything I've heard about your kids, I would shut the fuck up if I was you. Okay? Because my stepson is being raised a hell of a lot better than any of you motherfuckers were. I'll give you that much. That's a fact. So, kiss my ass, Angel.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And you
Paulie Walnuts. Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead,
and
bro. Sorry.
the only reason why I'm even talking about her is because evidently because she watches your show. Um, she saw that I referred to her as a blowjob when I talked about her to you.
Well,
So
you were very accurate in that statement. She is a
yeah,
blowjob.
yeah, and if she keeps messing with me, I'm gonna really get the dirt on her. Okay, and I get a kick out of everybody who says that um her brother Peter was the toughest kid in the neighborhood. Who her brother just was a bully who hit people who knew who his father was and they weren't going to swing back. Okay?
Yep.
Let if he would have went to like Brooklyn or the Bronx and didn't tell anybody who he was, he would have got his hole opened up. And then
Yeah.
uh, she without doing any investigation, she just wants to read articles and not check um if they were true or not. But yeah, I saw them post up an article earlier on her show, and I'm hoping that little fag Dominic wrote that article, because then I'm gonna go after her and him.
Yeah. Well, listen. You know I've gone after Dominic many times. He's another fucking one. You know what I mean?
No, you know what? That's the part I missed. Now that I remember, there's a part where I say that I can sue just like she does. But anyway, that's how I would go after them. Um, because it's so false, it would be a slam dunk, and they can call whoever they want. You believe this angel rooted for OJ?
Bro, I'm not surprised at all. She's a psycho fucking path. You know what I mean? She is. She's nuts. She's nuts. She listen. If she was a guy, I'm sure she would have been a love to be committing all this violence and shit on her own. You know what I mean? She thinks that she's like her brother or one of her uncles or her father. She thinks she's some sort of fucking gangster. She's not.
Yeah, and you know what she said before I clicked over to you? She said, and you, meaning you, want to talk about my father being a murderer and you got guys like this killing elderly people, and uh, meanwhile,
But you never killed an elderly guy, bro.
no, and you know what? I mean, I'll be honest. I did try to kill two guys in my life, but they lived, thank God. You know,
Yeah.
um, you know, it was a revenge. It was revenge because they split my head open with a baseball bat. So, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I was violent. You know, I did shoot other people, but you know, I wasn't shooting them to kill. I would just shoot them in their thigh or in their ass, you know, just to scare them.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, you know what? That's the way you had to be, but in order to get any respect in that neighborhood.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, I think you guys
Howie
should know.
actually tried to Howie actually tried to kill me just recently though. He's not telling you about that, but it actually happened.
and and you know, you want to know why I like talking to you guys on the chats is because all my life I grew up in social clubs and cafes. And you know, that's all we did, you know. All the guys sitting around telling war stories, you know, just bullshitting about nothing. Okay. And you know, uh the only difference between bullshitting with you guys on the chat is that we're not sitting in front of each other. But
Yeah.
it's been a long time uh that that I was able to tell somebody that I tried to kill two guys, and they're not going to look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah. Oh, it's nothing on here. It's like,
Yeah.
only two?
No, no, no. According to the other side, you know, like if you killed 20 people, wow, he was a good guy.
Yeah, I
He
know.
was a real stand-up guy.
I know it's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
You
the
know?
higher the body count, the more
Yeah,
respect they need.
yeah. Anyway, so you want me to just start giving? I'll give him a little brief background
Yeah,
about me.
absolutely, bro. Tell us about let me thank Dwayne again for another $20. Thank you. Guys, hook me up tonight if you can. It's fucking Saturday night. We got 220 people. Um, yeah, let me ask you, bro, if you want to just give us a brief rundown, because I know you don't want to do the whole thing tonight. I understand, and I believe, guys, I don't want to speak out of turn, but let me just say something here, and Howie knows all about this. Um, Tonight at 10:30, Gunsmoke should be, if it's still on, giving you guys a special treat. You should have a very good show to watch right after this one. So it's a double header. Okay, something good's going to be happening tonight.
Yeah, and you know
So
what? I might go on his show too when he's done with his first guest.
that's cool. Yeah, or
Yeah.
maybe the same time, bro. Shit, that'd be
Oh
fun.
yeah, maybe we'll see. You know, I'm probably gonna get something to eat after I'm done here. I'm gonna give you a really really short version. In 1984, okay, when I was 18, I met Jojo Carrazzo.
Can I just
Um,
before you go on, can I just ask you this from Carmine S?
yeah.
He said, "Did you know Johnny Borello, Gene's cousin, associate of the Gambinos? Why did Vito Guzzo from the Giannini crew kill him?"
Um,
Okay, Tony
Jo-
Ducks. I didn't know he had the thumbnail up. Okay.
yeah. Johnny Boy was dating one of Vito's ex girlfriends, and at the time, Johnny Boy was with Charles Caniglia, and he was really, really talking a lot of shit about Vito,
Hmm.
and it got him killed. And I do know his cousin. Um, he used to always beg me to take him on a score, and I did take him on a robbery one time. And one time he was misbehaving, and Jojo told me to go crack him outside in front of the bar, and I did, you know. But I liked him, you know. He was a little wild. He was a wild guy. Um, he didn't have to get killed like that. But Vito Guzzo, he enjoyed killing people.
Yeah, I know.
That was him.
He certainly did. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
All right. So, yeah, tell us from the beginning then how you got involved and all that good shit. And yeah, guys, 10:30, Gene Borello will be on Gunsmoke Show. I didn't know he already had the thumbnail up. So,
Yeah.
uh,
All right. So, little by little, uh, um, you know, uh, I gained more confidence in, in him. But don't get me wrong. Before 1980, I was hanging around 101st Avenue like when I was 15. So, I was hanging out with everybody that was hanging out on 101st Avenue, but JoJo was in jail, and he had gotten out. I'm not sure exactly when he got out, um, but I believe I met him 1984 because I remember helping pack his trunk with some trays of food because he was going to meet with Paul Castellano. And that had to be in 84 because John killed him in 85. So, and JoJo is, I don't know if Chris put up the picture, but JoJo is the guy that you see in those famous pictures of John Gotti. There's a guy
yeah,
sitting next to him in a car.
yeah, yeah. I think it's that one that I cropped. I took just JoJo out of it. I didn't put that picture up, but I
Oh,
think
okay.
most of the audience is familiar with him.
Yeah. Eh, yeah. After John got arrested and, uh, the Carrazos had all the power. Um, even though Pete was the acting boss, even when John Jr. was the acting boss, there was a committee uh, that was helping him run the family,
Yeah,
and Nikki Carrazzo was one of those people on that committee. And I these are guys that I've broken bread with. Ronnie One Arm, Jojo Carrazzo, Skinny Dampazonia, Pete Gotti, Johnny Bino, uh, uh, Dominic Cephalou, who's the boss now, Bobby Glasses, who was part of the committee running the family shortly before he got arrested. I played a role in that in 2011, I believe it was. It was Mafia Takedown Day, the largest takedown in history.
yeah,
Obviously, I didn't take down everyone, but I was good for a large amount. Um, I eventually made Ronnie my partner before he was a wise guy, um, running the social club and running the card game and maintaining the machines, like the Joker Pokers and stuff. Those machines made a lot of money,
I'm
and
sure.
Joe had told me I needed a partner because I was always with him, and it was hard to, you got to be at the club all the time. So that was hard. So JoJo winds up getting arrested on a New Orleans case with the Marcello family involving Bally's and slot machines. And unfortunately, when he got out on bail, he had a list of people that he couldn't associate with, and I was one of the guys on the list. So, um, I couldn't see him. So then he took his plea and he was going in, and we did when he was closer to turning himself in. We did sneak a few times to see each other, and he told me to stay by Bobby Glass's cafe um, while he was gone. and that's where I met. You know what? I think I met Frankie Fertilino before I started hanging out in that cafe, but it was just like a brief introduction. But then we started hanging out in the cafe. I became really good friends with Anthony Tabita. Like we had a little short bromance. We weren't, he wound up getting arrested, but the short period of time that we were together, we were like, really close. Um, then after that, JoJo came back out when he finished supervised release. I was back, uh, with him, and but then in 2002, I got arrested on my federal case, and actually in 1997 or 98, I did get a state bid, and in 1993, I got a bullet in Rikers Island. A
A
bullet.
bullet?
Yeah, a bullet.
Gee, where have I heard that before,
Yeah,
Howie?
right?
You didn't do two bullets back to back, did you?
No.
Just one bullet?
I don't know why they would give somebody two bullets back to back. They can just give them a 1 to 3 and send them
Yeah, I
upstate.
know, bro. Listen, when you're making shit up, you don't, you know, what I mean, you don't think about stuff
Hey,
like
you know what? I mean, they do. They can give you two bullets running concurrent, but consecutive. I don't know.
that.
I mean, they don't want you staying at Rikers Island for consecutive bullets. They're gonna run it concurrent, or they're gonna give you a state bid.
He'll say that's why I was in the Queens County House of Detention, dude. He'll say something like that.
Yeah, I also spent a little time there too. Um, yeah, so in between all of this, JoJo taught me how to become a Shylock. Well, basically how to keep the books. So this way, you can keep track and be organized and know you know who's behind and how much you got out. And there's a certain way of doing it because sometimes people pay you late, and then after a period of time, they they wind up uh, becoming like a week behind, and that you lose that week's vig if you don't catch it.
Yeah.
Um, then he sent me to the people who introduced me to the bookmaking business, and then I started doing scores. Um, we did commercial burglaries. As Jerry Capisci says, uh, big ticket burglaries.
Yeah.
We did stuff like cutting holes in roofs and climbing down because we used to cut the lines and knock out the alarm systems, but they became high tech after that, and best thing for us to do was just avoid the sensors. Like sometimes if a door had a sensor on the top part of the door, we'd cut the bottom half off with a blowtorch so we wouldn't trip it and we'd have a little bit more time inside.
Let me ask you real quick before you go on, just because a lot of people are asking
Go ahead.
your nationality.
Well, I'm Puerto Rican, but according to Ancestry.com, my DNA is from Spain.
You're
Uh,
okay.
and in the bottom of the thing, it says that a lot of people from Spain migrated to colonized in Puerto Rico. So, I guess that's why my ancestry goes back to Spain.
Well, my
But
father wants to know. Um, so, what box would you check if you were filling out an application and it said, "Are you a person of color?" Would you check white? Would you check Hispanic? What would you check, Howie? That's what
Well,
my father wants to know.
well, before I found out that I was a Spaniard, I would have said I'm a person of color. But evidently, people from Spain are Caucasian.
Yes, yes, they are.
So, and believe me, I'm not. It doesn't matter to me either way.
So you would
Uh,
check W for white?
yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
they put a W for white.
Cane shades.
Yeah,
All right.
fucking what a fucking moron that kid is. Oh my god.
I know. I know.
You know
I'm sorry,
something.
man. I didn't mean to sidetrack you. I just had to ask. So, because a lot of
Yeah,
people wanted to know.
yeah, and I grew up all my life in an Italian community, so you know that's the majority of what I know. Um,
Somebody
and
texted me and asked me if you were close with the conductor.
the conductor,
Yeah.
we're on the train.
I have no fucking idea.
No,
I
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea.
I don't know who the conductor is.
I don't either. I
Maybe,
don't,
maybe if he gave me the name. Oh, you know what? I want to send. There's a guy named Sean in Angel's chat.
Mhm.
Um, I want to tell that blowjob that if it's the guy that I think it is, that I never spoke to him with the wire because he was such a blowjob. They didn't even want me to record him.
There you go.
but
Good answer. The
but
guy just texted me back. He said Lenny.
Lenny Di Maria,
Yeah.
yeah. But I
Oh,
never heard anybody call him the conductor.
yeah. I never heard that name before. I've heard of Lenny Di Maria, but not. I never knew
Well,
they
you know
called.
what? They were always in Brooklyn. We were always in Queens. We only saw uh, the people from Brooklyn like at occasions, weddings, funerals. Unfortunately, actually, I forgot to tell you. JoJo was my daughter's godfather.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, so that would make him my Gumbada, but I don't think I'm his Gumbada anymore.
Things change.
Yeah, but you know what? Hey, listen, it's nothing personal. There was no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for me. Maybe if they did change my name, things would be different because all these fucking punks that were getting straightened out kept getting in my way of earning because they were able to pull rank on me. Um, so before I wind up getting myself killed, smacking one of these fucks in the face, um, you know, and you know what? It wasn't even like something that I never even entertained the thought. What happened is my lawyer told me that the government wanted to sit down with me, and he explained to me that they wanted, to do a proffer, and uh, I went home, and I had a couple of days to think about it, and there was a lot of upsides to it, So I wasn't going nowhere. I was doing life on an installment plan until I wind up killing somebody because there was a guy that I was planning on clipping before I decided to cooperate because I had a fight with him, and he was in the fetal position on the floor, and then he
Hmm.
started swinging his arm, and he had a knife in his hand, and he stabbed me in my leg.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, and then he went to Blaze Carrazzo to try to squash it, but I said yeah, but I still was going to get him because one he had said that the guy's gonna go, he couldn't breathe, he thought you were gonna kill him, Um, he's going to move to Florida. He's not even going to go to any of these bars in the neighborhood no more. And I know he was bullshitting me. I'm not an idiot. I grew up in this life, so I said, yeah, 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 fine, because I know the guy is going to make a mistake, and then I can do whatever I want to him. And sure enough, he did. But unfortunately, I couldn't do anything to him. But you know what? I'm glad. Now that I'm older, I'm glad I never killed anybody. And I'm sorry for the people that I hurt.
Yeah.
But
Somebody, this Joey Kanish guy keeps saying the dumbest fucking thing. He heard you were answering to Hootie. I don't know if he's fucking trolling us. I don't know.
yeah, he's trolling. I
Yeah.
never answered. Hoodie's a lot younger than me, and I
Yeah, of
know who.
course.
One time I said I know him since he's 5, but that's not true because I think I know him since he's like probably like 10. Because over here, you say something and it's not exactly on the money, they'll fry you for it. But I always knew Hootie as a good kid, harmless kid. He was a drug dealer. Um, I don't know if he made his. I mean, if he said he was making 100,000 a month, then that would mean that they were making 500,000 a month because there's 4 other guys that are part of that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but he was a drug dealer. I mean, he made money. Not but I don't know if it was 100,000 a month. Um, but yeah, it's funny because he always said when he was on YouTube that he didn't even know the rat on the case. He never did anything with him, and I thought he was just being quiet because he's a rat too, and he didn't want to get the government mad at him for talking about me. But then he made a comment one day that I wasn't as tough as I thought I was, and so I had to beat him up a little bit one day talking about him, you know, just to back him up.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, and he's another guy that doesn't think he's a rat. Fucking guy's a rat. He profited. That means he admitted to every crime he did and every person he did it with.
Yeah.
And another
Yeah.
thing,
I
another
think
thing,
he's admitted to it before. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, but then he like admitted to it, but then little by little, that he started saying all I did was jump off a global plea, and when you proffer, you're sitting down with the government and you're telling them everything you did and everything you did it with, everybody you did it
Yeah.
with. And you know
Yeah.
what? I had no idea they were going to make me wear a wire. But once you sit down with them, I mean, there's no turning back. You know,
Yeah.
what was I to do? Say forget about it, and then it leaks out that I fucking even talked to them like John Jr. did. I would have got clipped. And I believe John Jr. Somebody did attempt to clip him because when he got stabbed, uh, he said he was trying to break up a fight between 2 crackheads. Yeah, right.
Yeah. I don't think anybody ever believed that. I remember the day I heard the story. I was like, yeah, no, that's not what happened. That's
And let
not
me
what
tell
happened.
you. Let me tell you something about that family. Um, they looked down on everyone, okay, because their father was who he was, and they felt like they can abuse, mistreat uh, everyone, and everyone hated them for that, okay, because the Bolt brothers were bullies. Like I said, I I don't know Angel. Um, who the fuck was going to talk about her? I did see Victoria a lot driving up and down 101st Avenue. I know her ex-husband, Carmine Agnello. But that's it. Uh, and little by little, this family has disgraced their father. You had Victoria with the Growing Up Gotti show. You had John Jr., who profited with the government. And now you got Angel acting like a fucking nut job on YouTube. You know, she uses the excuse that she's just defending her family against people who are lying. You know, when people call her father a murderer and a bunch of other things, they're not fucking lying. You know?
No, of course not. Let me first of all, let me shout out Stephen Cordell, $15. He said go after the pig. Thank you, Stephen Cordell, as always. But you were kind of a wild man, bro. I wanted to ask you about I was on the phone with Gene Morello right before this
Yeah.
show. And he said, I told him who I was doing a show with tonight, and he said, "Oh, he said that dude got busy. He said he shot at Ronnie G once. Can you tell us
Oh,
about that?"
I know. Yeah. I guess it wasn't on your show that I told the story.
No.
Well, what happened was um, Ronnie Giolenzo, Vinny Asara, and Jerry Asara beat up a friend of mine. So me, Joe Kane, my friend, and another guy, uh, we went and we sat outside Ronnie G's girlfriend's house and waited for him to come out. But he got in his truck really quick. So so anyway, we followed him into Howard Beach. We cut him off, and he jumped out of his truck with a baseball bat. He wasn't a punk. He was ready to fight us with a baseball bat. But I pulled out my pistol and I fired at him. I believe it was twice, and but he ran behind his truck. So, but that doesn't make anybody a punk. Nobody's going to stand there and let you shoot him. Anyway, after that, I wind up becoming really good friends with him, and you know, we rode motorcycles together. I would stop by his house here and there, stuff like that. And he actually, I liked Ronnie. I liked,
Yeah,
and I,
come to think of it, I think you did tell that on this show before, and I forgot about it.
yeah, I
I think
liked
you
Ronnie,
mentioned
and
that.
I believe he liked me.
Yeah, yeah,
But
because we talked about his house and everything. I believe that day.
yeah, yeah, and he's a bona fide tough guy, Ronnie. I remember when Alphonse Trucchio, uh, the mob prodigy captain who is shelved right now, living in Florida, as far as I know, who got smacked around by Ace Yellow and Johnny Joe Spirito, I think, or Spirito. Anthony Arlada knows him. Uh, uh, him and Ace Yellow smacked him up, and I believe they did that for Bobby Glasses because Bobby Glasses also, I heard, allegedly smacked him too because Al got disrespectful with JoJo and disrespectful with his son, the attorney. And I also believe that he had him and Mike Rockerfoot went at it too. I don't know what his standing is now, but whatever he got, he deserves. Um, that whole fucking crew were nothing but junkies. But the type of guys that would call everybody else junkies, except for Michael Rockerfoot. Michael Rockerfoot was a good guy. He wasn't a junkie, and he was a real sweetheart. And he was a big guy, like big, big what, like size wise.
Yeah,
But he was a gentleman. I always liked him. Um, you know, uh, but just about everybody else were blowjobs. I
Game
call,
Police. Thank you, bro. Go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
I don't, really, Angel shouldn't have took that so personally because I call everybody a blowjob. You know,
Yeah, well, yeah, but in her case, though,
it might be true.
Yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I think she knows like that she's a blowjob. You know what I mean? So when you say it, it hurts. It's like when I call her fat. You know what I mean? She knows it's true, and it cuts a little deeper.
She's like the type of girl that would tell her girlfriend, "Oh, I never gave my husband a blowjob."
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you know,
Exactly. Yeah,
she plays like this. Every time somebody says a little slang word, she's like, "What is that?" She plays stupid. She knows what it
yeah,
is, and she
yeah. Of
lets
course.
that fucking pervert. I don't know. Am I the only one who sees it? Lee Cole being a fucking pervert on her show,
Oh my god.
making sexual remarks, and
Yeah, he's a
the,
degenerate, bro.
yeah, and you know what? I believe
She
that
used to call him Lee Cole the pervert. Like I have it in text messages. I posted them on YouTube. You know what I mean? She used to refer to him as Lee Cole the pervert, so she knows.
and and the girl Becky O that goes on Angel's chat, she's
Yeah.
upset because Lee Cole made a comment about her putting mothballs up her vagina.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
like little by little he's getting what they call it, he's getting wreck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Common sense, my man. I really like common sense.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He
What
said Pat always makes
huh?
gross degenerate comments. He is a sick puppy. Yes, he is. Common sense.
Yeah, definitely is. But I'm telling you right now, Angel, if you and your friends keep running with that article, that's not true. I'm going to take it out on you because you brought all of this shit up. Nobody was saying anything until you put it on your show, and now that little blowjob who thinks every rat lies and that his father's not a criminal, just like you think your father wasn't a criminal. Come on. And
Yeah.
you know what? Nobody can call me a lying rat because I recorded everything.
Good point. Very good point. Frank Fiorellino said, "You mean I don't have to call you handsome Jack anymore?" That's what I said, Frank. I was
Well,
like, "Oh, what a relief."
the name Handsome Jack comes from my avatar. My dog's name was Jack, and I thought he was handsome, so I just used that name, Handsome Jack.
Handsome Jack. Nice.
I wasn't referring to myself, although I do believe that Angel thinks I'm handsome because the first time she read the article, Marla asked her to put my picture up, and before that, they were making fun of like maybe like that I'm ugly, I'm not really handsome, and I think Angel didn't want to put my picture up because she thought I was handsome.
Yeah, they would have been disappointed. Yeah, she wanted you to look like a fucking MRE or something.
Yeah, Lee Cole.
Yeah.
I want to try to do. I want to try to look up that the picture that where he's wearing the suit. I want to take like a blown up version picture of those shoes he's wearing. They
Who?
actually, at MRE, they look like fucking
Oh,
Bozo the Clown shoes.
yeah, I know.
Those really long shoes, and
Yeah, I know.
that guy's a disgusting motherfucker too. The way he talks about uh, you know, Aralata and who else did he talk about? Gene. He's a disgusting motherfucker too,
Yeah, he is. He
and
is.
and he
But
thinks he's got Angel fooled too. He doesn't have her fooled. She's not fooled. She just don't care.
yeah. Well, the funny thing is too, he would be friends with all of those people he calls rats if he had the chance. You know what I mean? He was already with a couple, so he's just full of shit. He strikes out at people who don't want to be associated with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, before I forget, they were talking about setting up boxing matches, and they want to set you up to box that guy Renee.
Oh, are you kidding me? I'd beat the living shit out of
Yeah.
Renee. His
Anyway,
his name is Renee, for fuck's sake.
yeah. There's this. They haven't. They had this big conversation. Oh, we should set up the like a little boxing match. Between certain people.
Yeah, I,
And
I learned how to box since I was 5. My godfather taught me how to box. I would gladly box Renee. I'd beat the living dog shit out of him. Anytime, Renee, you fucking cornball girl name. Anytime you want, bro. But he can't leave his house without a fucking gun. He's terrified. A guy who's never even been in the fucking street. He's got to have guns on him at all fucking time because he's a coward. He's too scared to fight anyone.
I guys like that usually are too scared to pull the trigger.
Oh yeah, this is literally like a super. You know what I mean by white boy? I don't mean a white person. When I say white
I
boy,
know
I
what you're
mean
saying.
like a cornball suburban. Only saw the streets from out his window type of fucking kid. That's what Renee is.
Yeah, I mean, there's all different types of white guys. Um, you got your Caucasian guys, then you got your other guys that are white with the W.
Yeah. Yeah, they're white. You mean I think I check W for white. I don't know. I don't understand this person of color. I
you know,
don't know what it means, Angel.
do you know what he was doing? He wasn't sure if he was answering the question the right way or
That's
the
because he's a
way
fucking moron.
right. So he was like beating around the bush to see what answer they were looking for so he can give it to them.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
the
he's
funniest shit I ever heard, that he pronounced the N word with an A and not an R, so it's okay.
yeah, I know. Well, this is the logic of Angel Gotti. Listen, I hate to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
This is how much I love my brother Gunsmoke because I could keep going for an hour and a half more easily. Even if Howie left, I could fucking just tear some people up for a little while, hopefully make some more money. But I love Gunsmoke the Don. That's my brother. Oh, wait, there he is. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back.
All right.
Beautiful. Look at that.
You
Gene said he
cancel?
wants to go on at 11:15, so we got 45 more fucking minutes.
Let's get somebody else to come on. Frankie or somebody.
Yeah, Frankie can come on, whatever. Some
And
guys,
why isn't anybody donating?
I know,
I
226. It's a Saturday night. I made 50 fucking dollars on last night's show. This
I
is terrible, bro.
I'm
Soon the
feeling kind of sad. I thought I was a draw.
I thought you were going to bring me all kinds of money, Howie. What happened? It's
Damn.
funny because they say that I've claimed bankruptcy before, which is bullshit. But soon I might have to. The way it's going, it's getting
I mean,
bad.
I always see people in the chat saying, "Oh, that was a great show." But yeah, you know what? Saturday night, there's a lot of people that probably go out,
I don't know. Saturday
drinking and
nights,
stuff.
I figured it out. Saturday nights, I usually make good money. Friday nights, I don't make shit. That's why I wasn't surprised about last night. You know what I mean? But it's
Right.
weird. It's taken a horrible downturn. But anyway, let's keep going. Fuck it. We have
Yeah,
time now.
yeah. Frankie.
Do you think? Let
Fuck.
me ask you. Do you think when William Rickard, um, when he was in the delivery room with Victoria DeGiorgio and she gave birth to Angel, do you think when William saw Angel's eyes, he said, "Fuck this! I don't want this child. Give her to your next husband"? Because that's my
No,
theory.
I think that when he saw her, he said he had to go to the restroom and he never came back.
And then 4 years later, she married John Gotti because
Right.
William left her.
And then in order to, not hurt her feelings, her father had to sign a paper saying he was her natural father.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
exactly.
I don't know anybody that has to get a paper signed saying that the person is their natural father. You know, and
Yeah.
those were the exact words. It wasn't that it was a birth certificate and he just had to put his signature there.
Yeah.
The,
No. No.
yeah, I
Yeah. I
definitely
know.
I definitely believe all of that is true.
What? That William's her father, right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's no doubt
But
about it.
I believed it when you showed the documentation and the way she
Jesse, I
reacted.
only got I only got one, Jesse, from earlier. I don't know if you sent another one, but I put the one you sent up. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Howie.
Yeah, it's fine. Um, the way she reacts to it, you know that it bothers her and that it's true.
Oh my God, of course. Yeah, there's no question, bro. Dwayne, I will. I can't buy one. Unfortunately, I can't pick certain people and buy them for them. But I'll use the money you just gave me, and I'll buy some memberships right now for the chat, and hopefully Bruno will end up with one. But unfortunately, the way they set it up, I can't. I can't pick and choose. YouTube allocates them. That's the way it works. So let me do membership gifting. I'll just buy 5. It's $24.95. Let me do this real quick. All right, let me see if Bruno winds up with one. Miss Can't Be Wrong could drop the link for you, Bruno. If this, there you go. You're the first person that got one.
Nice.
Jeff Mella, Alex Trejo, Bruno, Junior Lollipops, Michael McDonald. Wonderful. Michael needed one too. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you. Thank you. That worked out well. Problem solved. Good shit. You want to you know what, bro? Let's switch over to members only for the rest of the show. You want to do that?
Yeah, I don't mind.
All right, fuck it. Why not? Not making any money anyway. Who cares? Who fucking cares? All right, here we go. We're going members only. There we are. All right, we're members only now, guys.
Like, so now I can really talk bad about her.
Oh yeah, now you can go fucking ape shit. Yeah, listen, you know what the point I'm at with her, man? Like,
Well, this can be your last night. The
yeah,
chat.
I mean, let me see. I just received. I don't know if he wants me to say his whole name. I don't know if he wants me to say his whole name. I hope he's a fucking member. How do I find out if you're a member? Because you just gave me $50, Steve. I don't want to say your whole name, bro, because I don't know what your screen name is. But Steve just sent me $50 through PayPal. Thank you very much, and I hope you're a member. And I didn't just shut you out of the show. If you're a member, please let me know in the chat so I don't feel bad, please. Yeah, listen, I'm to the point with her where I realized I'm wasting my fucking time. It just doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Talking about this
Yeah.
bitch, like even like you were saying, like this is a woman who has the balls to talk to me about raising a 10-year-old stepson. I mean, she's got a family full of psychopathic murderers and drug lords. It's unbelievable. So how can you can't even argue with a crazy person? You can't. You know what I mean? There's no fucking point. She's out of her mind. Like we were talking on Tony Soflo's earlier, how Tony Soflo could tear Victoria to shreds all day. And then she'll talk about sending me paperwork. And I'm not even the one talking about Victoria. You know what I mean? That's how obsessed she is with me. This is crazy, bro. This is a stalker.
Oh, she blew her top yesterday. She said that I'm not doing this no more. I think Chicago Muscle said something in the chat,
Mm-hmm.
and she got annoyed because she's whatever he said, she felt like it was going to uh fall bad on her daughter. And she look, you got to just check out that little clip. She really got mad. She was cursing everything.
Mad at who, though?
I think it was Chicago Muscle in her
Oh.
chat had said something. I don't know what it was, but
Well, I think
Uh,
somebody told her that I was talking bad about Victoria again, and I was not. Last night's show, I made fun of her. I made fun of her eyes and shit, but I wasn't talking bad. I wasn't saying anything sexual. I wasn't saying anything. And then somebody sends me a clip of her talking about if I talk about Victoria again, she's going to go to my wife's job. Angel, you don't know where my wife works. I'm telling you that right
oh,
now. I triple double dog dare you to tell me where she works. And I'll tell you what, if you do know and you go anywhere near my wife's work, I will be there. Okay? And you're not going to get loud. You're not going to talk shit to my fucking face. And you ain't going to go anywhere near my wife. Trust me. I'll go to
tell her,
fucking jail first. So,
tell her
but
to
you don't know
bring
where
her
she
brother
works anyway.
Peter.
Yeah, yeah. Bring Peter. Yeah. I'll beat him with a fucking baseball bat. Yeah.
He's so fucking fat now. He'll be out of breath in
I
like
know.
fucking 3 minutes.
I know. I dare her. I dare her to show up somewhere around my fucking wife and see what happens.
I
Okay,
don't think.
but she
I don't
doesn't know
think.
where Shanna works anyway. She's a fucking
Yeah,
liar.
I don't think Peter's ever been in a fucking real fight all his life. All
Probably
he's
not.
all he's ever done is jap people. You know, because nobody swung back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
don't think he was ever in a real fight. Carmine S. What do you mean? What might come back at her? Who did she dox? She also said she was going to put your daughter's pics up too, FBI. If she puts my daughter's pics up, I will fucking be relentless on Victoria and Frankie. It'll be her worst nightmare. It'll be her worst nightmare. I will destroy her. And guys, I know this is members only, but feel free to take that back to her. It'll be the worst mistake she ever fucking made. Even though, they've got one or two pictures and my daughter is stunningly beautiful. She's certainly uh, you know, I have nothing but pride for who my daughter is. You know what I mean? She's a beautiful girl, and it's gonna put her daughter to shame. You know what I mean? But she could do what she wants.
well, even her daughter admitted that your daughter was pretty.
Yeah, of course. You can't deny it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's not going to hurt if she puts pictures up because my daughter's, like I said, gorgeous. It's not going to hurt anything. It'll just make all of them look bad. But I will take it out on her and I'll make her life a living fucking hell. If she thinks I've talked bad about Victoria already, oh my God, wait till you see. Wait till you see what stories I tell that I haven't told already. It'll be a fucking nightmare for Angel. It'll be a nightmare for Angel, for real.
And if she keeps pushing that lie and false narrative about me, I'm gonna start fucking lying and pushing false narratives too.
Yeah, why not? And Bruno, yes, I got the $5. Thank you. Yeah, why not? I mean, you got to fight fire with fire.
You know what? So then maybe when she heard that you were talking about her daughter, she got mad and felt that maybe it was response to what somebody said, because that happens, like a guy like Chicago Muscle will say something about, whatever, and Tony Soulflow or somebody else
Yeah.
will attack Angel for it.
Oh. Okay, I get it.
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, you might want to tell your boy Chicago Muscle to stop with the putting women's pictures up and doing that shit because it is going to come back on Angel. Angel's going to pay for it. You know what I mean? That's just the way it works. We all agree on that. So, listen, I've said it before. I've said it a million times. I'm tired of saying it. Until they stop talking about people's families, Angel is at the top of that list, her especially. It's all going to come back on Angel and her family. That's it. Sue me. Do whatever you want. But you're the ringleader, Angel. Therefore, it'll all come back on you. That's all there is to it.
Right. Yeah, she thinks if she doesn't want to be responsible for what people say on her show, then maybe she shouldn't laugh at what they're saying, or maybe she shouldn't feed into what they're saying. Oh, really? Is that true? Are you sure? She does
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah,
You know,
she doesn't realize, like Gonzo said, subs will go after her like no tomorrow. She doesn't realize the difference. Let me tell you the difference, Angel. Your daughter is constantly talking shit about people, me specifically. She's always in the chats. He's a fucking junkie. He's a scumbag. He's this and that. When have you ever seen my daughter anywhere near fucking Mobtube? Anywhere near it? Even in a chat? Never. And you never will. She has nothing to do with it. So she doesn't get, it's a false equivalence as everything is with them. You know what I mean? Her daughter tossed her hat into the ring. She placed herself into this drama and beef, and Angel put her here. So it's their fucking fault. It's their fault.
And she said the only reason why she hasn't left YouTube yet is because her daughter told her she better not leave.
Wait, say that again?
According to Angel, the reason why she didn't leave YouTube because she was frustrated and she was going to leave is because her daughter insisted that she don't leave.
Wow. That's very stupid on Victoria's part. Very, very dumb.
Yeah, but you know what I don't get? Oh, okay. But what about Frankie? Maybe he doesn't want people talking about him. Is it just Victoria who calls the shots?
Who knows? Well, I don't think. Listen, I don't think any single one of them cares about what any of the other ones think. They only care about themselves. That's all the Gotti.
I forgot to tell you. Remember I made that comment that why her husband moved to LA, and I said, that sounds like something to look into. Well, it turns out that Anthony Ruggiano said that her husband got chased and went to California.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't know, but I said that it sounds like that's what happened. But it turns out that Anthony Ruggiano said that it really happened. And Anthony Ruggiano is not a type of guy just to go around bullshitting. If he says it happened, I believe it happened. When I say chased, I mean like he got told to leave New York,
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I thought you might have mentioned it. Somebody said something like that on my show recently.
No, I did. I did mention that it sounds fishy that we should look into it.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't know that Anthony Ruggiano had said anything.
Yeah.
But when she was responding to my comment the other night, she was saying that Anthony Ruggiano had said it too, and I never knew that. And Anthony Ruggiano, he knows everybody. He's not going to just talk shit. For what reason? He's not. He doesn't have a problem with Angel.
Yeah. No, I mean it makes sense. You know what I mean? And
because Angel's probably like, oh my God, he's treating me bad, and he got told.
Plus, I think he worked for one of Junior's trucking companies once or some shit like that. He worked for one of Junior's companies. I don't know if it was actually Junior's or if he was just running it, in control of it, whatever. But I know
I can picture her. My father is John Gotti. You cannot divorce me. You will not leave this house. Or my father. What, are you reading something?
No, I'm listening to you. Listen, I've read before and I've heard from people that that's what she does. That's what she did throughout her whole life. If a guy broke her heart or anything, she would get them chased. You know what I mean? She would say, oh, he's a rat, or he did this to me, he did that to me. So, bro, it makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised. You there?
Yeah, I'm listening. No, You know what? I wouldn't doubt it, man. That's the way the whole family is. And you know what? didn't invent it, but they made the term "Do you know who I am?" popular again,
Oh,
because
of
that's all they
course.
ever did.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
You
what
know,
everybody that I've talked to that knows them personally has said. You know, especially those kids. Do you know who I am? Yeah, because of who their fucking father was. Yeah, of
jo-
course.
uh, Jojo told me, he taught me that if I feel like I'm about to get killed, that I can use his name.
Really?
You know, like in other words, if it's gonna save my life, then I can tell him who I'm with.
Oh shit.
But other than that, I'll look like a fool doing it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something you want to do anyway. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
weak.
That's you. No, you don't. You want to. I earned my reputation because of what I did, not because of who I know. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, of
it
course.
it was usually always the other way around anyway.
Yeah, guys like you never needed to use those words. You know what I mean? They never
Yeah,
had to talk about who you were with.
it was usually the other guy saying who he's with.
Yeah. Yeah. Tony Ducks, I don't know if you heard this FPS, but Angel said that Victoria and Frankie have a half sister who is black. So
Yep.
how could she ever hang out with a racist? Is that true?
Yeah, her ex husband married a black girl or
Which
was dating a
ex-husband?
black girl. Lewis
Oh, I had no fucking idea. I did not know that.
in L.A.
So okay, so what the fuck? Why are they always talking about Shanna? They make up these stories that she was used to be with black guys and they do all this racist shit and she's sitting next to a Nazi. Why? You got a black person in the family.
Yeah, and her husband left her for a black lady.
Well, maybe that's where her racism comes from. You know, one thing I found out, let me tell you something. Every white dude I've ever been around who's truly, truly racist, who really hates black people, when you dig into their story, you find out that at one point, a black guy fucked their girlfriend. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
all of a sudden from that day on, they hated black people. You know what I mean? That's bro,
could be. Yeah.
that's a story as old as time. I
Oh,
had a
yeah, but according to them, you're the biggest racist on YouTube.
yeah, meanwhile, I was surrounded by nothing but black people for a good, I don't know, 70% of my fucking life. Literally till this day, all of my friends, with the exception of one or two, are black guys. You know what I mean? It's the most ridiculous comment. You can't find a picture of me without. I'll give you an example. You want to see? I was trying to find old pictures of me when I was skinny and I had hair, and this is
Yeah.
the last one I came across. Okay,
You
these
were
were
you weren't able to find one?
well, no, there was they
I'm
all,
joking.
let's just say all the pictures look alike. Okay, this is the first one I could come up with. These were three of my best friends, and the other guy I didn't know as well. Can you spot the fat bald Sicilian in that picture?
Yeah, you're all the way on the left.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, that one guy in the middle looks like Mike Tyson.
That dude is a. Let me tell you, bro. That dude was indicted for murder twice, bro. He was a kingpin in New York City, man. The guy next to him, the Puerto Rican guy, he owned a record store. The guy kneeling down was actually my best friend for well, pretty much still till this day.
Hmm.
And the guy behind him got 12 to 24 years for shooting four guys in a car. And he's actually out now. I just ran into him like a month ago. Me and Shanna ran into him when we were out to eat. But his story is crazy, bro. This dude, so he's from here. He's from New York City, right? He owned a barber shop, a couple of other businesses, plus he had, he was, involved in some other shit. And one day, some guys robbed him. Okay, some New York guys came here and they robbed him. They got him for like 4,000 or 5,000, something like that. Well, a couple of days later, he sees the car that the guys who robbed him were driving. So he goes over to the car, he takes out his pistol, and he shoots all four of them in the car, and he starts running. So he's running through the city because as soon as he fired the shots, there was cops not far away. He heard the fucking sirens come on. So they're already in pursuit of him. He didn't know there was cops close by. So he starts fucking running. there's this big parking lot right off of Market Street Philadelphia Street in New York City, and it's got this wall that's about 3 feet high. And if you're looking at this parking lot, even if you know the city, it looks like there's ground on the other side of this parking lot, on the other side of this wall. You know what I mean? So he hauls ass through this parking lot. He hops over this little wall. Well, it's a 3-story drop. So
Wow.
he hit the ground, and his fucking ankle shattered right through his skin.
Damn.
And his foot literally was hanging by a piece of skin. Okay, his foot was hanging by a piece of skin.
Once it breaks.
Yeah, so the cops chased him this whole time. So they got to him. They put him in cuffs and made him lift his fucking legs. His foot was hanging, bro, off of his fucking leg by a piece of skin. He wound up being in the hospital for like 8 weeks, handcuffed to a hospital bed before they could even lock him up in jail. You know what I mean? But he wound up getting 12 to 24 years. And he got out a few years back. You know what I mean? I still see him. He's a good dude, bro.
Is his leg all right?
Yeah, he's all right now. Yeah, he's all right now. But he's still, he's got a couple of businesses and shit now that he's home and stuff. He's doing well. But all those guys, bro, that was my crew. You know what I mean? I was around nothing but black people, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans. That's it. So to call me racist, you're out of your fucking mind. I mean, I couldn't be racist if I wanted to be. Okay, my whole fucking circle was everything but white people. So this is their imagination. This is because everything is projection with them. You know what I mean? Everything is projection.
Yeah, it's all a retaliation for MRE.
Yeah, and that dude kneeling down in that photo is eventually going to come on this show, and tell people all about me. They're going to hate that shit because they're going to hear the opposite of everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everything they like to think of me. You know what I mean? All this shit, he wasn't about that. He didn't do that type of shit. He ain't built like that. Okay, you're going to hear some stories. You know what I mean? Here's some fucking stories.
And you know what? They might come back with some other stories about me, but if they any negative stories that they might come back with, it's going to be from somebody who doesn't like me. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ask anybody that does like me, I was I was a likable guy, believe it or not.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And yeah, she said that I was a hated guy in Howard Beach. Yeah, after I got caught cooperating.
Yeah, well, that's what they do. They'll say now, you're hated now, maybe. So they'll say you were always hated, but obviously you weren't. You know what I mean? I mean, there's fucking your history proves that.
Right. Yeah. Didn't matter anyway. They stayed away from our corner. Like the only time that John Jr. came on our corner starting shit, he got his ass kicked and he got sent on his way. And then Quack Quack and 2 other people came. I don't know who it was. And they cracked this kid Dougie Do Nothing. But yeah. Angel, like, it drives me crazy. Like when she plays these videos of you saying, "I'll smack the wig off your head." She never plays the whole fucking video. Like what started you? Why you're saying that? And it's so obvious. Like. And then with your son, she'll always play the second one that she edited, and she'll say, "I didn't know who it was," but she won't play that first one where she says, "And this one's for you, FBS."
And that's why she gets pissed off or she got so pissed off that I actually posted that to my channel the other night. She made a video the next day, "Fat Bully Snitch," and I was thinking to myself, wow, she actually described herself in that title. Who are you to call a snitch, bitch? You're fucking, or to call anyone a snitch. You're talking about calling the police all the fucking time. You were asking Edwin last night, what, I don't know, what the department within the police department you should go to to try to report us and all this shit. You're talking about calling the FBI all the time, lawyers. Angel Gotti is the biggest rat on here, and she's fat and she's a bully. So she was absolutely describing herself in that fucking title.
Oh, and the fat bastard was on last night again.
The fat bastard. Who, Lee?
No, the other fat bastard.
Chicky.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when, I'm not surprised.
Talking smack. And you know what?
About who?
Whoever he could. Whenever he can throw a dig against you, he would.
Yeah. Let him come on here and do it sometime.
Yeah. And you know what? I believe the only reason why he showed his face again was because Anthony Aralata was on the air last night, and he was showing a video of Chicky's brother talking about him.
Oh.
So I believe he came on just to, feel it out, like to see if anybody, heard it,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what he does. You know what I mean? He probably got all nervous and, he's hoping that since Lefty's show is a small show that nobody saw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me drop the link for someone who wants to come on real quick. We got about 20 minutes left. Guys, don't be afraid to donate. Yeah. Oh, and Tony Ducks, thank you very much for the $25. If I didn't thank you already, bro. Thank you, my man.
Damn, I feel I'm like down in the dumps. I thought maybe people would enjoy watching me.
That's not that, man. I don't know. I think it's December. I think times are tough on people. You know what I mean? Which I knew it was going to be a slow month. It gets scary because you never know when things are going to pick back up. You know what I mean? You never know, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? It is like Christmas time,
Yeah. It's weird, though. You never know how it's going to work. Like last year, every month, including December, was fantastic. And then January, February, March were a fucking nightmare. If that happens this year, I got no choice. You know what I mean? I got to go get a regular job and just do videos when I can or something. Because that was a fucking nightmare, bro. I was bringing in a third of what I usually brought in. That can't happen. But hopefully that doesn't happen this year. No, next year, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'd like to see what fucking Angel's response is going to be to what I said about splitting the money with Marla and just shutting down all cash apps. Like if it bothers her so much that people are sending money. They're so full of shit. And then Lee Cole will talk about you begging, and then when he does his show, he's asking for donations.
Of course.
And Angel's on the show with him.
Yeah, of course. Listen, I don't know if I still have the clip up here, but Lee is the person who first talked me into doing super chats and stuff. You know what I mean? I played the clip for everyone before. I think I even posted it. I didn't want to do super chats in the beginning. He talked me into it. Now that I do it and shit, I'm a beggar, which Lee is full of shit. Lee, he had Danny on there every fucking day asking, guys, please, can you send donations if you can afford it? And Lee still does it himself. So they're all full of shit, bro. They're jealous that I actually make money on you.
That was the whole.
They're jealous.
That was the whole purpose of Lee Cole coming on here.
Oh, of course. Of course. Yeah, and he made better money than ever in 3 months. You talking about coming on my show?
No, coming on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Listen, it's everybody's purpose. Anybody who says they're not doing YouTube for money is full of shit. Why else would you be doing it? You open yourself up. I don't care if you're doing a fucking channel. Oh, look, my beautiful wife. Thank you, Common Sense. My beautiful wife. I love you too, baby. I hope you're having a good night. I forget what I was saying, but the point is, you open yourself up to all kinds of trolling, doxing, your family being fucked with, everything else. It doesn't matter if you're doing a channel about cooking, gardening, or the mafia. It doesn't matter. There's going to be people that hate on you and come after you. So you're opening yourself up to a whole world of stress and aggravation that no one needs in life. So if you're not doing it for money, then you're just I don't know. You're extremely bored. You have too much time on your hands. Something. Everybody does it for money. Everybody. I was watching a guy earlier who literally all he does is plays clips of like Nancy Grace and shit. And
Right.
every now and then he'll comment on them. This guy does 3 or 4 lives a day. He's got no personality, no sense of humor. Every now and then he makes a comment about the video he's playing. And this guy brings in thousands of dollars a day. He doesn't even shout out his super chats. It's just one after another, after another, after another. And he doesn't even say a word. You know what I mean? He
Hey,
doesn't shout them out. He doesn't bring, he doesn't put them on the screen, nothing.
have you ever seen that show Fresh and Fit?
No.
These guys, they start off the show, they'll only answer $20 super chats. Then after a little time passes, they'll only read $50 super chats. But
Yeah.
but these guys got like 8,000 people in the chat.
Yeah.
You need to check them out. They're hilarious.
Yeah, I'll check him
Fresh
out.
and Fit. You got to check them out.
I'll check him out tonight. Listen, Edwin is here. You know Edwin from Angel Show?
Oh yeah.
Let's hear from him. Edwin.
Chris, I've decided to leave Angel and come to you.
Really?
Would you like to press charges against Angel? I can
No.
direct you to the federal authorities.
Unfortunately, I'm not a rat bastard.
That sounds like Lefty.
Oh, look at
Fuck you, you prick.
Shit. Handsome Jack,
You
thank you
fucking
for the
ruined
980.
it, man.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, Handsome Jack, what the fuck? You ratted out Lefty.
Was that Lefty the whole time? The other one?
No, there's
One
all
of 'em.
different. Yeah. There was a dueling Edwins one night. It was like Mustache Pete, Gunsmoke, Lefty. I think Common Sense might have even been doing it. It was great.
Hey, you had to hear Edwin on Angel's show last night. He was telling her go to the cops and you can make a report and blah 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 and all of that shit.
Yeah, Edwin came on my show and was like, Lefty, we need to get federal authorities involved, Lefty. And I'm like, huh? I can't stand they talk about Angel this way. I'm like, well, if it upsets you that much, why are you watching? You know?
He's in love with
Lefty,
Angel.
I was crying last night, Lefty, for you. Oh, the things they said about you, Lefty. My wife was up for 3 days. And that was actually like a real quote.
Yeah, that was only because he fucking wouldn't shut the fuck up. She was up for 3 days.
Yeah, I know.
So what up, Handsome Jack?
Not much. I stopped. I want to save the rest of my story for another episode. So I just told him a little bit, and next time I'm going to get into some of the scores we did and some of the problems we got into, and some exciting stuff.
Yeah, that'll be great, bro. I'm sure everybody will be happy to hear all that stuff.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll be on a better night,
Yeah. Well, listen, tonight's good too, man. This was great, bro. People want to hear what you have to say, man, without a doubt. I know you might think they don't, but they do. They do. I think everybody here is a fan of Handsome Jack.
You know what it is, FBS. I don't. If I was gonna worried about people calling me a rat, I would have never did what I did. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. Like.
So wait a minute. When you decided to flip, you weren't worried about what Angel and Dominic Creo would say about you one day?
Exactly. Especially those two mutts. They really think their fathers were angels.
He's as bad as her, bro. He's as bad as her because he fucking he doesn't put any responsibility on his father for why he's in prison. You know what I mean? He thinks his father's just some innocent victim who fucking got locked up. And he's so angry that his daddy's in jail that now he wants to take it out on anybody who ever flipped. And it's funny because he claims to be the one in the family who made something of himself. But, bro, other than maybe running legitimate businesses, if they're even legitimate, what sets you apart from them, bro? You're supposed to be a normal, regular guy who's well-to-do and is successful, but all you do is talk about rats. You might as well just be another mob guy. What's the fucking point? Like, what sets you apart from your brother or your father, Dominic? I want to know.
I heard a story about his father. I heard a story that there was an incident in jail, and everybody got locked up except for his father and the guy who ratted.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And the guy telling the story was insinuating that he was a rat too, for not getting sent to the hole. You know.
You just gave Dominic a massive stroke. I hope you know.
Yeah, he's literally tweaking out right now as we speak.
Yeah, well, he can go ask Benny Geritano what happened because he's the one who said it.
Oh shit. Is he in prison with him now?
Yeah.
Ah, Dominic. Uh-oh. It would be okay though. He'd give his father a pass. You know what I mean? I told you they only hate rats that they don't already dislike for some other reason. You know what I mean? It's not they have almost every single one of them is willing to be friends with at least one or two. You know what I mean? You know, like I said, they don't talk. I want to hear the day they trash Mikey Scars on that show. I want to hear that fucking day. They want to talk about Jimmy Calandra. How many fucking people did Mikey Scars put away?
Deep down inside, if the rat had nothing to do with anything that had to do with you or your family, they don't care about they don't hate the rat. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what, bro? That's the way it is everywhere.
Yeah.
There's two rats in this world I hate. The two that set me up. Honest to God, truth. You ask any fucking buddy in any city in America who's in the street life, okay, you ask them about some fucking rat that had nothing to do with any case they were ever attached to. And you know what they're going to say? Oh, you didn't rat on me. What do I care? I've been hearing it my whole life from street guys. They really don't. They don't give a fuck because most fucking street guys are self-aware enough to realize that when they became criminals, they opened themselves up to being ratted out. You know what I mean? So you're just relieved when you find Lefty. You got all kinds of noise, bro.
Oh, sorry, man.
They just what was I gonna say? I fucking forget now. It don't matter. But they're just relieved. That's what I was gonna say. Most street guys are just relieved when they find out somebody's a rat. They're just relieved that they didn't tell on them. You know what I mean? Right. That's it. They don't give a fuck. People don't care.
Listen, I've been out on the street when people turn rat, and if the rat had nothing to do with them directly, they didn't give a fuck.
No, of course not. No. Tony Ducks wants to know if that story was recent from Benny.
Yeah, I heard it on somebody's show.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he heard it from the same place too.
I'm sure he did.
That's why he's asking if it was recent.
He pays all these little trolls to run all this information back to him. You know what I mean?
Actually, that guy mentioned my name in that show when he was talking about things.
Oh, really?
No, Chris. Are you sure he's sending money? Cause Mobland was hitting me up for fucking cigarette money, and I had to buy a StreamYard month for him. So I mean, I don't know if Dom's paying them too well.
Is that true, Lefty?
That's true. Mobland was broke as a fucking, I don't know, dude. He's just broke. Fucking 400 something subscribers, but loves to talk shit. He's like, oh no, I gave up on my channel. You know, that's why I don't have any subscribers. I'm like, no, you're a drunk who they laugh at and don't respect, but you go hard for them.
Mobland, you fucking bum. You fucking bum. That's great to
Lefty,
hear.
please cough at me for a couple fogs.
For a
I don't
couple
know. Well, dude, maybe he was asking for money for, some actual homosexuals, but he did use the word fag. So, who knows?
That's funny shit.
Hey man, that had to hurt like a motherfucker. What happened to Lee?
Oh,
What?
yeah. Lee
He
probably
got
wasn't feeling too good about himself last night.
he got raped.
Oh, whoa. Don't use that. Try not to use that word.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
yeah.
Sorry.
He got, what do you mean? What do you
Well,
mean?
he filed a lawsuit saying that he was
Oh, yeah. I know. Why did that
he
come
was
up last night?
yeah, I think he did. He talked about it last night.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he did. He
Yeah.
tried to pretend he was one of the victims of that whole WWE thing.
Oh, yeah. He drove his brother to kill himself. Like, dude. And then he comes on here, which is even worse, and tries to, use his brother as a prop for guilt and,
Yeah.
deflection.
I gotta remember not to use certain words when I'm talking on here.
Oh, that's all right. It's all right. It happens. It's just they diversity training with MRE. Most of everything you say is hilarious. That's not.
What?
Something diversity said.
Oh, you didn't
Yeah,
talk to him.
yeah.
Oh.
I don't joke about that specific crime ever. But I know he's just trying to be
Oh
funny.
No, yeah, dude.
Yeah, but the
That's
only
not
reason
something
why I
to joke
said it is
about.
because I know it didn't happen, and it was just Lee trying to make a
Oh yeah,
story.
it's not you. It's not your fault. Diversity just
Went,
yeah. Every now and then,
went
diversity
past the
training
goal
goes.
line.
Yeah, he just goes wrong with us sometimes. he goes. He
Hey,
goes a bit too far.
he also tried to get money for reconstructive anal surgery.
Is this
That was part of the lawsuit. Not only did he want to get paid for what happened, he wanted to get paid for anal reconstructive surgery.
Yeah, I don't know this to be true.
Yeah.
But hey, let's
Oh
run
boy,
with it
this guy.
anyway.
I know this guy's going to try to make a show on me, and if he does, he's going to be hurting Angel. So if he has any consideration, he won't do it.
Handsome Jack, you
Besides
just
that, I can be really ruthless
invited
too.
him to do that 10 times over. Now, he doesn't give a fuck about Angel.
Nah, you got to understand, Howie. If he thinks this will impress Angel, he'll go after you. He don't care. He's got no shame. He doesn't care who attacks him. He just wants to impress her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He is truly the biggest simp on Mobtube because when he's not simping to me, he's simping to Angel. You know what I mean? He's the worst. Nobody kisses ass like Lee. It's funny.
Hey.
You would think a guy who's so experienced in kissing ass, you would think he would have made something out of himself in life. You know what I mean? Like he would have actually gotten somewhere. But he kisses the wrong asses, I think. That's the problem.
Well, what he better understand is that I'm from that neighborhood, and I grew up in that neighborhood, and I know a lot of people who were friends with that family, and I don't think it'll be too difficult to find out the truth.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, listen, guys. In 2 minutes, Gunsmoke the Dawn is
Yes.
starting with Gene Borello. So thank you, Handsome Jack, for coming
Yeah,
on, bro.
no problem.
I appreciate you, and thank you, Lefty, for the hilarious impression.
I stopped talking about myself only because I want to give a more thorough version the next time,
No, that's cool. Yeah, that works for me, bro.
This way maybe you can earn some more.
Yeah. It'd be nice. All right, guys. Thank you for coming on, bro. I'll talk to you soon, bro.
See you later, Left.
Later.
All
Hey,
right,
Handsome, I might be on late.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right. Peace out, guys. All right. So there you go. Another show done. Yeah, it's time to cut over to Gunsmoke the Don. So everybody go over there, please, and show him support. I'd appreciate it very much. All right, guys. I'm out of here for now. I don't know when I'll be on next. I might do the Sunday night sit down tomorrow night. I'm not sure. So thank you for everything. I love you all. And until next time, salute.